All right, folks, let's jump right in and welcome aboard Jared Max, former ESPN radio talk show host here in New York City. Hello, Jared.
Hey, Steve. What's up, buddy? How are you?
Well, let's see. A little guy named Tanaka. The Yankees have signed a pitcher from Japan who was the prize that many teams were bidding on and fighting for. He was 24 wins, no losses, with an ERA of 1.27 last year with the Golden Eagles, who won the championship of baseball in Japan.
College?
What's that?
Boston College, the Golden Eagles.
Right. So, I mean, this is quite a coup.
Yeah, I saw I saw a stat that he had in Game 6 of their series, he had thrown 160 pitches and then come back and pitched in Game 7. I mean, that'll all change. He's joining into a system. The big story here was that the Yankees actually outbid the Dodgers for this. People thought he was going to go to L.A. I was reading a little bit about how his wife wants to be his big star. I mean, New York, certainly she can be a star, but it kind of got me thinking that, Steve, I mean, this is the Yankees, and there's certain things that don't fly. I can't remember, no matter how big a player was, whether it was Alex's wife, A-Rod's wife, Cynthia at the time, or the Yankees players' wives don't usually break into the story, and the only thing I just hope that's not going to become some silly distraction for the Yankees, where all of a sudden it's
well, explain what you mean.
Well, in the sense of where let's say a Gisele Bundchen, Tom Brady's wife, mouths off after a Super Bowl because she didn't like the way that her husband,
right?
That kind of stuff, and that never really happens with right. I mean,
but I mean, explain to the folks what about his wife.
Oh, no, just a little bit that I've read, Steve. You probably give more on this, than I know, which is the fact that she wants to be, a star. That's kind of what I've kind of gathered.
Yeah. Well, there's plenty of job callings where she could go, casting calls where she could go try to be a star, I guess.
Right, and just as long as hopefully it's not again a distraction.
Right.
But they pay $155 million for this guy, and a lot of people wondering why the Yankees go out and spend this kind of money. I thought that Hal Steinbrenner had said he wanted to keep this payroll at under $189 million. Steve, I got to ask you, man, who's going to be on the cover of the Yankees media guide this year? Let's say before today.
Before today, you and me.
Right. I mean, they'll have you'll have a shot of Jeter,
right,
with a walking cane, and you'll have a shot of Mark Teixeira smiling,
right,
and but the guys who've been the stars, who the Yankees have sold themselves on for the last 20 years, as opposed to just talking about the past. Every year there's another motto: the New York Yankees 2011, pride and power,
right,
legacy. What's it going to be this year? And I think they needed to make a major splash. And the bottom line is they want to fill seats. And there have been so many empty seats at Yankee Stadium, and the truth is, look, we can go and you can go buy a 50-inch television for a few $100 these days. People, where would you rather? You could be at home watching the game and enjoying it much easier.
Absolutely. No, but this is going to be an event. If he has success early on, people are going to come out to watch this guy pitch.
Exactly. You have to create an attraction.
Yeah.
And it's not. And also, Steve, think about in Japan. The Yankees, they still have Ichiro and Hiroki Kuroda, and now you add in Tanaka. This is now. The Yankees have such strong ties with the Japanese market and the marketing of the interlocking NY. This only strengthens it when you think of what percentage of Japanese baseball fans are going to be tuning in one way or another to Yankee baseball on a regular basis.
Absolutely. All right, let me ask you about the rant by Richard Sherman. We just had Lee Steinberg on, and he called it NFL twerking. He said that he's accomplished exactly what Miley Cyrus has accomplished. That he's accomplished that he's going to be the center of attention. He's made a mark for himself, for better or for worse, and people are going to be looking at him every move he makes, and just like with Miley Cyrus. And so he called this that move NFL twerking.
I definitely don't take that sign, whatever Lee Steinberg said, what exactly he meant by it, as something positive about the state of the NFL, at least from the standpoint of being fans. I don't think, I watched that in my first take because a cousin of mine became a grandfather, and then they were sharing pictures of the baby, and my first thought was Mazel Tov to Michael is the newborn.
There you go.
And I was thinking I would not want my child certainly to see this and emulate this kind of behavior, in the sense of this, Steve. It is what it is, and somebody had written this. This isn't my line, but I believe in it strongly. It says more what Sherman did about who we are as a society than just him per se, because we create a sport, the game where these gladiators, modern-day gladiators, through and through, compete and have to, to live at that force to succeed. Do what Richard Sherman did. The guy just sent his team into the Super Bowl with a huge interception, and boom, they stick a camera in his face immediately. No cooling off period, no nothing. You get the star of the game. And that's what happened. People have come to realize who didn't know Richard Sherman already, Stanford grad, smart guy, and also a guy who's, likes to shout out. Well, okay, in football, you're basically like a killer without a weapon.
Right.
I don't mean a real killer, but the same way that people become killers when they go to war.
It's the mentality, the aggressiveness, and he has apologized and had some interesting remarks about being called a thug, said it's a substitute for the N-word. Anyway, Jared, we'll do it again next week.
Hey, Steve, what if he's just out, he's smarter than everyone, and he knows he just wants to create a distraction all week so his players can focus on the
All
game.
right, then we'll have to come up with a different word than twerking. Thanks, Jared. Jared Max, ladies and gentlemen, right here on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.